What is going on, folks? You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. I am Nick, and I've got something kind of cool I want to show you guys. I've had it, it's not brand new, I've had it for a little bit now. I've been putting it through its paces and things like that, and playing with it and just having a hell of a time. So, I'm sure you guys know, I've mentioned on here before, I was in Boy Scouts, things like that. I am an Eagle Scout, in case you're wondering. But messing with knives and stuff, that started with Cub Scouts, and it seemed like there was always a competition in my Boy Scout troop growing up for who could have the coolest knife. And knives have always been one of those things where I don't leave the house without them. If I've got my pants on, I've probably got a knife on me. And even if I don't have my pants on, there's probably one close by. So they're super useful, whether you're opening packages, whatever. It's indispensable. I always need a knife on me. There's one knife, though, that I was never quite willing to spend the money on. Even though I had seen a couple, I had seen pictures of them, I'd watched videos on them, I never really pulled the trigger until fairly recently. So this is actually a really cool addition to my collection. It is the Microtech Ultratech. It is a double action out the front knife, so you have the switch on the side, push it up, knife comes out, pull the switch back down, knife goes back in. So part of Microtech's claim to fame with their design is that the spring is at rest while the knife is out, and the spring is at rest while the knife is retracted. So you should, in theory, get a very long lifespan out of those springs. It's not putting a lot of undue stress on those. So this one is the 204P Carpenter steel blade, and it is the bayonet blade style. So it is double-edged, but only about, I don't know, maybe 60% of the way back, or 75%. So if you did want to put a thumb on the back of the blade to brace for some finer cutting tasks, you could do that to an extent. I wouldn't do anything too crazy because you could slide up on the back of that blade. This thing came pretty sharp. Well, definitely had a very serviceable edge on it. They do have their signature glass breaker on the pommel, which is very nice, and a deep carry pocket clip. So I think what we need to do now is we'll go up to the table and I'll give you guys close-up on this. Alright, so here is the box. I've kind of put this back in here as a mock-up unboxing. So like I said, I have been using it. It says that it is the Ultratech bayonet with OD green, satin standard blade, 120-4 OD. Pretty nice box. I like black and red, so that's nice. 100% American made, which is one of their other big reasons people like them so much. They are on their 25 years of innovation, so it gives you a little backstory on the back here. Welcome to the Microtech family, blah blah blah. I'll hold that there if you guys want to read that. Alright, so I don't think anybody's really going to read that, but we'll carry on. So you open the box, it does say caution, sharp edge, and inspected by, and somebody's initials. And then you have the knife in a little plastic sleeve, and there is a pamphlet on protecting the knife and like how to use it and things like that. But I have misplaced it. I think I filed it away in some paperwork. I will try to find that. But that's normally in there on top of the knife, and it's just kind of like do's and don'ts and conditions of your warranty and things like that. So you get the knife out. One of the first things I'm seeing that I want to bring up is these proprietary screws. If you have an issue with this knife, it does have Microtech's lifetime warranty. So I will not be taking the knife apart. I would just send it back to them. I think that's the safest course of action for me with my limited technical and mechanical skills. But you got their little claw emblem there, and then going down the knife, you know, it looks pretty straight, but there's actually some curves. Like there's a nice curve right through here, and a little step down after the switch. It actually fits in the hand very, very well. There's that glass breaker ball bearing on the end there. You have a lanyard loop if you're one of those super cool people that wants to put a lanyard on your knife. I'm not cool enough to do that, so I have not. And then when you come over to this side, you do have the deep carry pocket clip, which is pretty nice and works very well depending on the thickness of your pants. One cool thing is with this graduated pocket clip design, if your pants are too thick to go all the way up, it will stop still fairly high up on the knife, which is very nice. I like that. Some of the pants I wear, it won't go all the way down, so that's pretty nifty. You have a serial number up top, and you have the date of manufacture. So this was made September of 2019, and then I've got my serial number there. Some pretty aggressive jimping and stuff along the knife. Definitely helps you hold on to it. I've never felt like I was going to lose the grip on the knife. The finish is pretty nice. It's been holding up despite me carrying this and running into things, being the klutz that I am. Your activation switch, very aggressive jimping on both the front and rear. And that is some really cool texturing. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that there, but it's very nice. Don't ever feel like your thumb is going to slip off of it. Definitely shoots out with some authority, and it is not quiet when it comes out. So one potential drawback to a knife like this, depending on where you're going to carry it, could be, you know, what are people around you going to think about it? For the most part, I don't really care what people think, but by the same token, you may find yourself in an environment where you might intimidate some people that you don't want to intimidate, etc. So it's something to think about. Thumb did slip off of it there, but it's like a very sharp double-edged fidget spinner for me. I do find myself playing with it quite a bit. That's what she said. Anyway, very cool knife. I enjoy it a lot. And the double edge feature is nice. I have not worn the blade completely down to the point where I needed to sharpen it, but I did go ahead and hone up the edge on this front. When I was trying to do some finer cutting task, it had dulled down a little bit, but then I had this backup reverse side. So although this is arguably a fighting blade style, it does work well for utility. And like I said, you do have that flat portion there where if you wanted to put your thumb to brace for some finer control cutting things, you could. All in all, though, very impressed with the knife. There's very little play in this, in Microtech's design, which compared to some of the cheaper out the front knives, double action out the front knives, there's minimal play here, just the bare minimum that the out the front design needs to function properly. So yeah, that's going to be about it for the close-up. So the Microtech Ultratech, very cool knife. If you're a knife guy, a double action out the front knife is probably one of the coolest deployment methods that they currently make on knives. It is one of my favorites that I have seen, and now this is definitely one of my favorites in my collection. As far as what the knife could be used for, it does lock when it comes out. As long as nothing impedes the blade while it's coming out, it will stop short, and then you'll have to pull the knife all the way out, let it lock into place, and then you'll be able to use it again. The thumb switch actually goes dead if it gets knocked off its path of travel. But as far as a defensive knife, I could see the argument for it, especially with that sort of blade shape. You know, you would need to get a trainer and train using this style of knife. It's completely different than a traditional knife that you may have had a lot of experience with. This is not a defensive knife for me. This is a novelty slash EDC knife, when I know I'm probably not going to get into anything that's going to damage the knife. Because I do want to take care of it. They are expensive. I'm not made of money. This is a bucket list knife for me. And that's kind of it for me. If I knew that I was going to go out for the high likelihood that there's going to be some serious heavy duty cutting and stuff involved, I would probably take one of my traditional folders with a single edge, like a Spyderco or CRKT, something like that. One of my go-to everyday knives. So on the cool factor though, I give this an absolute 100. And for the craftsmanship, how it's put together, the quality, I've been impressed with it. I haven't had any issues. And like I said, I kind of expected to see some scratches and dings and dents and not dents, but whatnot in the finish, just because of where I carry a knife. So it's typically in that front pocket. It gets rubbed up against things. And I haven't had the first issue with it. Even on the clip, I don't see any marring whatsoever. So very impressed with it. I would have to give it my stamp of approval at this point. If anything changes, you guys know I'll make an update video. Stay safe, keep shooting. Thank you for watching. Buy a Microtech, it's worth it, and I'll see you next time.